Hello, everybody. We're going to be doing a test. The question is, what is it going to be called? If you're watching, thanks for bearing with me. I don't even know if I've actually started streaming, to be honest with you. I'm using a new piece of software for me, Streamlabs OBS, which is open broadcast source, and it's built into a product by Streamlabs. And so this is my first time using it. And what I think I'll do is get rid of me. You don't need to be looking at me right now. We can do that by going to the editor. You know what? I'm going to leave it there for right now. Let's go back to the live view. Very interesting. If I go to history right now, that's my history. Let's go to videos. Does not look like we're live right now. Okay, looks like we're live. We're going to refresh chat. All right. Well, I'm going to operate on the assumption that we are live, although I'm not getting it right now on my phone, which I was hoping to do. And I'll play a little show and tell here shortly. Live and learn. I haven't even had a chance to name this yet. So right now we can skip alert. Okay, still not coming up. So I'll go to my channel. Nothing here to indicate that I'm live either. So let's do a bit more here by going into a browser, and I'll see what I can see on my channel just using my PC here. And if you're just joining me, thank you so much. Okay. So we're streaming to YouTube, but we're not seeing anything. And let's just confirm. Nothing in the chat. 0 viewers. Okay, that's reassuring. So let's go to YouTube. And let's go to Creator Studio. Let's go to live streaming. And there I am. Hey. So, welcome back, Mark Horner. Well, let's give it a name. We are testing Streamlabs OBS live. Testing Streamlabs OBS and sharing photos. First live stream test. with Streamlabs. And we'll share some photos, some outdoor photos, outdoor nature and wildlife photos from recent weeks during this test. Okay, let's go ahead and make it public. Changes are being saved. Monetization. Oh, sure. There's one watching right now, so whoever you are, I just want to say thank you. I'm doing a test here. I didn't even know that the stream had begun, but apparently it has. So I'll share some photos here in just a moment. What I'm doing is I've had OBS in the past, which is, some of you may know, some software for live streaming that's absolutely free. And it's been a fantastic piece of software that allows a lot of people to get into the live streaming game. And so I recently watched a video, in fact, I watched it today, about a Streamlabs version of OBS. So it's using the OBS coding and platform and all of that and building it into a Streamlabs ecosystem. So that's what I'm trying right now. And let's just see if I am in fact live on my channel. Appreciate all you guys who might be watching, all one of you perhaps. I just want to see if this looks like I'm up to 500 subscribers and I am live. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do, watching all one of you perhaps. And you know what? The lag is not bad at all. The lag is not bad at all. So that's pretty cool. Now, the way this is set up, and those of you, the one of you who's been watching so far, sorry for the abrupt beginning to this, but I'm just now getting used to this software and live streaming with it here on the YouTube channel. So let's bring that software up, because the cool thing about the Streamlabs software is that I should be able to see chat. And indeed, I do have chat. So welcome, everybody. It's nice to have you here. It's nice to have you checking out this channel as I experiment with this software. And as I said in the title for this and in the description that you should be able to see below, I thought I'd go ahead and share some photos. Now, tricky part is in my setup right here, I only have the one monitor. It's actually a monitor that's hooked up into a computer in a nearby room. Actually, this is my audio room that my brother built for me. And so the computer is on the other side of a wall here with two sheets, I think, of 5/8" drywall. And so what we did was we had a little hole, ran the cable in here so we can set up a monitor along with my audio equipment in here. So the other monitor is actually on the other side of the wall next to the noisy computer. But let's get on with it. Let's go to, let's see, I think it's going to be the editor here. And so from here in the editor, I can go ahead. And what I'm noticing, though, right off the top is on the right-hand side, we're not seeing the chat as I thought we would. So apparently there's a default setting that maybe has chat in my YouTube settings not enabled. Okay. But I can still see chat here within the software. So, oh, it wants me to sign into chat. Okay, looks like I'm signed in. All messages you send will appear publicly. Okay, that's great. It says I'm signed in. So let's say something. Kind of funky. I apologize, guys. I'm going to just see if I can get the chat going here. And maybe that's a bug. Ah. I'll work this out. Well, I'll play with that later and do a private stream. Or an unlisted one where I test it. Not so publicly like I am here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and we'll talk about some pictures. And let's do test image slideshow. So let's bring that up. And I think I'm going to change the background behind this photo as well. Okay, there we go. More of a golden at the top of the and bottom of the frame. Okay, so this is these are pictures of snow geese. And a lot of these pictures are going to be of snow geese. And if you lost the picture there for just a moment, I apologize. I forgot to change the camera setting. So just in case you're wondering, for a webcam, I'm using a DSLR. It's my Canon 7D. If you follow me on any live streaming, like predominantly Periscope, perhaps you already know I shoot with a Canon 7D also when I'm out live streaming. And so this is these were all pictures taken right here within just a few miles of my home in Snohomish, Washington, most often along a local road called Spring-Getty Road. Those are the Cascade Mountains. And I'm just curious, if anybody wants to type anything in chat, that would be great, because then I would be able to see if it comes up on my preview, and I'm not sure that it's going to. Otherwise, I'll get rid of that box on the right-hand side that is an overlay. Anyway, one day I was along Spring-Getty Road just a few weeks ago, and this bald eagle flew right towards me, just off to the side, and then kind of rose as it went beyond, because it had been just over the farm field. And it actually has what I believe is a pigeon in its talons as it flew by, and we'll get a closer look here in just a moment. In fact, what I'll do is on my phone, I can check chat this way as well. And it doesn't look like there's anything in chat, but I can type something in here. Dare I say hi to myself? Sure, I'll do it. Let's type hello. Here's a closer look at that bald eagle with what appeared to be a pigeon. Okay, so let's see if this chat comment pops up over here. It does on the right-hand side of this, so that's good. And there it is inside that window. Fantastic. Okay, so once again, we're... oh, and you know what? I think... Oh, I didn't change the setting to bring in more images here. I don't think. I have a folder that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you guys. A bunch of images. I will let this keep going. Yeah, this seems to be repeating. Let me see if I can go to properties. Oh, that's not it. And get the right folder to share with all of you. I really appreciate your patience. Well, actually, I think this is the proper folder. It just doesn't seem to be going through all of the photographs, does it? It's just going through a select number of them, which is interesting. So I'm wondering if there's a maximum number of photographs that one can share. So where do we change? Question is going to be, where do we change where we select the folder? Okay, here's where we go. So I'm doing this on the fly. I'm going to go to a folder, which I'm hoping we have here. OBS background pics, OBS pics 2, 3. This, I think, is it. Here we go. Okay, and we want to bring in all of these pictures. Let me do it. Two viewers. Hello, welcome. Appreciate you joining me for this test. Oh boy, it looks like I'm going to have to just, well, it won't let me select all of these pictures. Now that is odd. So if we just check the folder, let's try this. Okay, the two of you, thanks for joining me for the test. Appreciate it. Okay, image files. Add directory. Okay. Maybe this is the way I should have done it, you guys. Select folder. Here we go. Okay. Let's see if we get more pictures this way. That would be great. So feel free to comment, those of you, the two of you who are watching. And again, hopefully I can share some more photos with you here. So the tricky thing about this, again, this is Streamlabs OBS, live streaming software, is the hotkeys, which should allow me to manually advance through the pictures. The hotkeys don't seem to be working, and that seems to be a known bug that they're working out. So you have to go with a default automatic setting where it's going to move them along, and you get to choose the time in milliseconds for the setting for that. So I'm kind of a slave to this right now. I don't think, oh, here we go. I think we're seeing some new pictures now. So that master folder that I brought in seems to be working pretty good. Those are the Cascade Mountains, lots of snow geese. This was off of Lowell Larimer Road. Now we're back to that bald eagle. And touching the arrow doesn't seem to advance it. I'm on a PC. I think with a Mac, I don't know if it would work in this same software, but I think it's Option Spacebar advances it. And I'm going to touch spacebar here. That does not advance it. Let's try Control Spacebar. That doesn't either. So I'm basically a slave to the setting of the time that I put on this slideshow. What I noticed, though, is we have moved, as a result of what I just did, the layout of the pictures. So I am going to see if I can fix that for us real quick. That looks better. So anyway, we're getting a better look now. A look at other photographs is what I meant to say. And we have 3 live viewers. Thanks so much for joining. I'm doing a test here using some free streaming software, Streamlabs OBS, along with showing some photos of some recent weeks out with the camera. Yeah, so those are trumpeter swans. And let's see, where was I that day? That was along Marsh Road, right in the same heart of the valley, the same place in the valley, basically. One road over across the field from Lowell Larimer, where I was. And all these pictures have been taken over the course of a few weeks, right off in that general area, because that's where the snow geese are, and we get the trumpeter swans as well. And if you follow me on Periscope, you kind of know the stories. But if you're new, I can go ahead and share the background on these. Oh, yeah, 4 viewers, fantastic! If I hang out here long enough for this test, maybe I'll find more eyeballs. But yeah, here was the moon rising. This, again, was just in recent weeks, and I'm trying to remember. This was a special moon, and I don't remember what the significance of it was. This has been at least a couple of weeks ago. It might have been in late December. But I'm noticing that my alignment on my background, again, I'm using this software for the first time, is a little bit off once again. But pretty cool the way it works. Now, I'm going to give you a heads up. If by chance I get a new subscriber or any other action is taken that's related to some widgets that I went ahead and added to the software, you have the choice to add widgets. I'll get a little pop-up will come up on screen, and by default, it's going to have a little animated character. And in this case, it's a zombie. I really don't want it to be a zombie, but I haven't figured out how to change it yet. So one way to see that happen, if you want to subscribe and you don't presently subscribe, if you like this kind of content, feel free to do so. And we should get some sort of kind of a hokey alert with a zombie, a little animated zombie. And again, I'll figure out how to change that. So 4 live viewers, that's pretty cool. And I was thinking for some of the show and tell stuff in the future, if it's going to be kind of light stuff, feature stuff. Here's a look at Mount Baker from the top of Spring-Getty Road, and it winds and then downhill and goes to the left, and you can see the road continuing down below, just in the middle of the picture there, past the Christmas tree farm on the right. Another look at the Cascades, and those were just crows flying by. There's a thing that goes on this time of year where there are a lot of crows in these trees along a boggy area, water marsh type area along Springhetty, and at sunset, twilight, they tend to fly south. I wonder if they're going to Bothell, because a lot of crows come together in the evening in nearby Bothell, Washington. So my son has spent some time at the University of Washington Bothell campus, and he says they literally cover the entire football field there. There are so many crows. Anyway, feel free to comment if you'd like to ask any questions, or if you have any ideas. If you like this approach to live streaming, is there something here that you like? Is there something here that bugs you? By all means, I'm wide open to suggestions and your feedback. Meantime, I am going to try to adjust something so it looks a little bit more properly lined up. Let's see here. It's curious. Maybe the border issue is related to the size of the original images, and you're not seeing the whole image here. So these are really large pictures. They were web versions, but I see that they would have to be resized for live streaming and showing in OBS. So what I do is I shoot camera raw files on a Canon 7D, bought the camera new back in 2011, and then I bring them into Adobe Lightroom, and it used to be Photoshop for me, but I primarily do all my photo editing in Adobe Lightroom now. Not only because I like the editing features in it, they're great, but it's also a great cataloging system for saving and organizing your photos, your inventory. And so typically when I do a new shoot, I'll go into a master folder I have called Locations, and then I'll go in this case, Snohomish, and then I have it broken down by year in yet another subfolder. And then I named this would be, for example, Snohomish December 0, well, it would have been probably 1/12/26/17 if it was the 26th of 2017. And then in there I have the capture folder, and I import all my raw images into there. And then once I choose the ones I like and I edit them, I will export into another subfolder called Web. And so typically I make those no larger than, they're probably larger than they really need to be, much larger, 1600 pixels wide, which is much larger. Unless, I mean, that's good if you're going to view it on a PC, but these days most people are watching something, in their hand, a phone. So, but still, they're at 1600. Many of them are too big here, it seems. So, yeah. Anyway, we're cycling through, and here was a shot of the Cascade Mountains. Again, this was taken in Snohomish, snow geese in the distance, made for a beautiful scene. And at the bottom there, those are either sawdust. Yeah, those are sawdust piles, pretty much, I think. And this is right off of Lowell Larimer Road. So I tested the chat earlier. So if anybody wants to enter anything in chat, it will appear in that box that I'm seeing in the overlay on the right side of the screen. And what I'm going to need to do is resize my photos. I can see that right now. So I have an idea. This is how we could do that. And that looks like a pigeon, as I mentioned earlier, in the talons of that bald eagle. How about that? There we go. Now we're getting a little bit more symmetry. What I think I'll do is I'll try and share this with my friend Christian Sasa, who does a live stream every Friday on bald eagles on his YouTube channel. Does a wonderful job. I mean, he brings in guests and works all week long to prepare, literally full time, for that broadcast. And he now has 3 people around the country who volunteer their time and assist him in producing that as well. So it's pretty cool. So I'll copy the link. My buddy Christian and I will use an app called Voxer. I don't know if you saw it there in time. And I'll just put, I'm live. And if he's available, he'll check it out and jump on. So this was a cool moment. This was off of Marsh Road in Snohomish. And I was you know, it was one of those days where you just never saw the sun. You never saw any sunshine until this moment. And I didn't recognize it right away because it was behind my back. I was actually focused on some snow geese looking to the west. And as you know, it just illustrated the point that you have to have your head on a swivel whenever you're live because you want to be aware of what's going on around you. And lo and behold, I turned around and just some sunshine managed to just squeak through at twilight, early twilight, really, and just capture that mountaintop and light it up. It was really awesome. Now, these swans, these are trumpeter swans in the fog on Shadow Lake here in Snohomish. And the trumpeter swans are typically out in the farm fields during the day, and many of them for the evening will fly from the farm fields to the lake where they'll spend the evening on the lake at the far end where I think they feel safest. And but yeah, you can get some fantastic moments with trumpeter swans there, whether you're into photographing them or just kicking back and watching them. And the neat thing is, because they feel safest, I think, at the far end of the lake, that's why they're there most often. In the morning, many times what they'll do when they leave in their small groups of 3 to 5 swans, they will fly towards you to the near side of the lake. And then they slowly, they start off all clumsy like, and then they're just right over the water, and then they find a nice smooth glide, and one after the other, not side by side, but one after the other. And as they come to the near end of the lake, there are tall trees right there, so they suddenly start to rise, and they go right by you. And if you got your camera, boy, you get these magnificent shots. So great place to see trumpeter swans. Now, this was a moment on Springhetty Road in the fog. And all these snow geese just took off at once. And the tricky part about this, it was a great moment, and this is a wonderful view of it, is I had my DSLR around my neck and holding it in my right hand, and I had a gimbal with my iPhone 7 Plus in my left hand, and I was live streaming on Periscope and taking pictures, and it was quite a racket. It was a wonderful moment. In fact, a person I've never met in person, but lives on nearby Whidbey Island, Tom was watching. He thought that was the best Periscope broadcast I'd done. And I've been on Periscope since soon after the platform was introduced in March of 2015. And he's watched a lot of my broadcasts. Such a good guy. It's been fun to share his participation, dialogue with him. But anyway, he really loved it because, the geese were right over us, over me. In case you're wondering, these geese are a subset or a part of the group that comes down here from Russia every winter. They actually arrive in the late fall, and they're here through the winter. And most of these geese are in a county just north of us, which is Skagit County, Skagit. And I've had some fantastic moments with those geese up there over the years. Wave after wave at twilight have flown overhead. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And these geese here in Snohomish are a subset of that same group. They come down from Wrangell Island, which is so far north on the globe that there are no trees there. It's above the tree line on the globe. And so they nest on the ground of that island. And then when the time comes, then the young are strong enough and they're flying. They all come down this way. And so, yeah, and it can take a month or two, depending on the winds. Are they flying most of that time with the wind or against the wind? And then when they get here, you know it because you hear them and you see them. And it's quite a sight. And when you see them in the fields, oftentimes you might not think that's a whole lot of geese. But man, once they take flight, you realize their numbers are probably likely in excess of what you had anticipated, and by a large number. And then they're so loud. Anyway, so yeah, some great moments live streaming and taking photos here in Snohomish. The cool thing about this is, I live in a kind of the suburbs, if you will, but you only have to drive a short distance to go down into the valley and come into this real rural area and off of Highway 9, which is by our local standards, a pretty busy road at times. But you go one road over east across from the farm field, and suddenly, it's very rural, very country, and you can pull over and not worry about, traffic and things like that. There's a lot of space to do so and photograph and spend time observing the birds. And whether it's the snow geese, the trumpeter swans, the bald eagles, it's all down there. A lot of fun. Anyhow, I want to thank you guys very much for checking out this test. hopefully it had some interest to you. Once I get more familiar with the software and familiar with the various features on it, I will be a bit more dynamic, I think, and what I'll live stream from time to time. Hopefully pick up my frequency of showing up on YouTube. I've just been so busy with work lately. In fact, I live stream for work as part of my job, and in that capacity, I use NewTek TriCaster Mini HD4i. So it's basically a computer that's built for live streaming, and this particular one it's small in size, but it's very powerful. And this model has 4 HDMI inputs for up to 4 cameras. So it's been fun to learn about live streaming on that level as well. So whether it's in the palm of my hand on Periscope or with the YouTube app, or in the past, way back when, the Ustream app, or with something like the NewTek TriCaster Mini. Or maybe you use vMix if you're a live streamer, or OBS. And here again, if you join me late, I'm using Streamlabs OBS, the latest version, just checking it out. It's all fun. It's all fun to have that immediacy, to be live, and to have that engagement. So if you like this kind of content, please feel free to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and hope to see you again. Thanks for watching.